Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
I'm an old guy.
Hi.
I'm almost as old as him.
What? I'm sorry. Did I miss something
I think
here?
we did.
Apparently I did. Welcome, everybody, to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, your go-to place for everything entertaining car talk. Coming up, some great stuff.
Okay.
I like great stuff.
Do you?
Yeah, I like great stuff.
Well,
Good.
Rodney's next, isn't he?
I'm not exactly sure who's next because I don't know anything.
Let's say Rodney's here.
Hey,
So he must be next. Look
So-
at him. I see him in the
He's grinning,
preview
yeah.
over
he's
there.
giggling. He's got a giggle
Yeah,
going
well,
on. Giggling.
it's one of those kind of mornings for yours truly. Because look, I've got pages here of notes and stuff that I'm supposed to be doing.
I've got pages myself.
Yeah, what kind of pages? The rock and roll pages.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, thank you for joining us on this Saturday. I don't know what I'm doing clearly, and I'm discovering that every moment that I live and breathe these days. But thanks for the In Wheel Time Car Show for bringing you these fine messages and hope. An inspirational kind of morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just how long is our lead-in song?
Well,
Let me see. We've got another 9 seconds.
Okay.
Here's Mike Mars. There's Conrad DeLong. There's Jeff Zekin, and I'm nobody, clearly. But there is somebody that's somebody. And
Oh,
his
he's somebody,
name
all right.
is Rodney Rodriguez, and he is joining us right now. Well, sir, I hope that you've got it together because I clearly don't. Do you?
When I do stuff, everything's on paper, and people are always telling me, why don't you just format stuff in a document or something? And I'm like, well, the only problem with that is, hell, I can't type. I
Exactly.
have to write it all down, man.
It takes
I never
twice
took-
as long.
Well,
Right.
Rodney, it's great to see you. Great to hear from you. Have things have changed because they got a thing now called Dirty Air. Are you not on the local station there in Austin any longer?
Yeah, that's still there. I'm headed to do that here in just a little bit. We'll preview the NASCAR Final Four. So, yeah, that's still there. Revved Up still on Monday. Dirty Air still rolling, and that's it's kind of cool because between the three shows I get to cover, like with the radio shows, national, with Revved Up is Texas, and with Dirty Air is more regional.
Listen
into
to
the
this guy.
Carolinas.
yeah.
So next thing, it's going to be the NBC television network.
Yep.
It's going to be Motor Trend.
Can we get an autograph now before you?
Yeah, exactly. Will you even remember us then?
No.
Guys, I work cheap. I think that's why that's the best way to get gigs. People are always asking me, how do I get my feet wet? I'm like, do stuff for free.
Yeah.
They'll never tell you no.
Stick them in there. Stick your feet in there and get after it.
Yep.
That's it. That's
So
exactly right.
if you're going to preview Phoenix for NASCAR, what is your opinion of the watermelon wall move by
Love it.
Chastain?
I love it. I've often wondered why. I know Carl Edwards tried to do it at one point and it didn't work out. But I'll tell you what, that proved to me. I mean, other than that Ross Chastain has as big as watermelons, but it proves to me that this race car is indestructible, which is good and bad, I guess, because you got to get head injuries and all this other stuff happening. But if you really took a look at that race car afterwards, it wouldn't hurt that bad.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I'm sure
Well,
the
it didn't
steering
stop him.
components-
Well,
Yeah, no.
I sure am glad there
So-
wasn't a hole in the fence where cars would drive, onto the track or something like that, because that would have put a little dent in it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's happened in the past. At Bristol, there was a gate there.
Yeah.
But now with the safer barrier and everything that they have there, they've gotten so fancy over there, guys. Now they tunnel into the track. There's no gates. There's none of that anymore. So
Well, I remember Michael Waltrip, I think, hit a
Yeah.
gate and just totally ripped the front of the car off, and here are his legs dangling out in front, but undamaged. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, as for those that don't know, Mr. Chastain actually rode the outside wall around everybody and got himself into, I guess, the countdown to the playoffs or something. I don't remember what it was, but It was pretty remarkable. I'm going, wow, look at that car go.
and set an all-time lap record at the track.
For that lap.
He hammered it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's ever gone that fast. And it was so weird as that was happening because I was sitting here watching that and I was trying to keep up with, where's Denny? Where are these guys? Who's going to get in? Who's going to get out? And then as I'm watching that, and of course, granted, I'd already had several cool beverages by this point, that late in the afternoon. I see that car hauling ass around the outside, and I'm like, why are they hitting the fast forward button here? But no, turns out
it was just him.
Calculated plan. It worked.
Now, if Denny would have moved right and gotten Chastain's way, would that have moved Denny forward?
Yeah.
Or was Chastain already passed enough cars
No.
to get past Denny?
Denny would have got in, but here's the caveat to all of that. So all of this happens, and then after the race, Brad Keselowski gets disqualified. So when it was all said and done, Ross really didn't even need to do that, but it looked good.
Well, he didn't know at the time, and
No, he didn't know
also
at the time.
Denny didn't know where he was either. Denny was all in the tall cotton, saying here's
Right.
my Huckleberry, and then here he comes.
Right, he was in, and then that happens, and here you go. But I'll tell you, it's made for an interesting week, and you've already got people talking about a lot of the naysayers, the people that never watch NASCAR but yet watch it every week. They're already talking about they need to have a rule for this, and this can't happen.
Oh,
Whatever.
go
Give me a
away.
break.
Well, the new car has casters on the side of it. They put roller
Yeah, I
casters on
know.
the side.
I saw. So one of the trucks, they had actually put casters on the side of it this week, all in jest, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Do you think
we'll
that
see.
they're going to pass a rule that you can't ride the wall all the way around?
They better not. They better not. Just leave it alone. I mean, there's lots of other things to address. I mean, don't mess up something. Guys, that'll never. I never say never, but that's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah.
That was one of those. You throw a Hail Mary, and you got to do what you got to do. Win at all costs.
You're gonna see,
And if you got watermelons big enough to do it, go ahead and try
you're
it.
gonna see 13 guys tomorrow doing it.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk
And
about the Gulf Coast
a lot of
Racing
the
Series.
Funny thing, one more thing on that, guy.
Yeah, uh-huh.
A lot of the funny thing with it is that I see a lot of my dirt track friends that are talking about, oh, that was a stupid move. And these are the same guys that go out to the dirt track and are riding on the cushion the whole time up on the top side. And I'm like, guys, come on, cut the man some slack.
Well, and who's to decide I'm riding the rail versus, oops, sorry, I slid into the rail? I mean, it's just the difference in how long you're there.
And he didn't hit anybody. He
No.
didn't hurt anybody's car but his own.
An absolute genius move that he had talked about having done on the video game in the past. He just didn't know if it would work in real life. And
It did.
his watermelons were big enough to try it.
Dude, it was brilliant. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
I love it. I love it.
Let's talk about Gulf Coast Racing Series and Gina's Mobile racetrack. And are there any Houston drivers that go over there?
No, I mean there were a couple of Texans that would go, and granted, there's a lot of expense. I totally get it, but the final event's coming up for Gina. It was supposed to have been a couple of weeks ago, but the weather not cooperating over there. That's the one thing that I've learned as I've started to become a part-time Alabamian or Alabaman or however the hell you say it is.
Yeah.
Man, that weather there is just a little bit stupider than ours. And final race coming up, I guess next Saturday, the Lee Fields Memorial. That ought to be a really cool event. She's got a couple of real Cale Gale, who is one of the all-time Mobile, legendary racers, is actually going to come out and race with us for that weekend event. We're looking forward to that. We may actually have another guy out of the truck series that I can't mention his name yet because we're trying to get it all put together. A very formidable truck racer that cut his teeth there at Mobile. He might be coming out to race with us as well. So we're hoping that'll happen and have those two guys. But a lot of the Texans, they had kind of shied away from doing that. But now you've got the Houston HMP is off and running already. 2 events here with, ironically, they're racing next Saturday as well. Just unavoidable with the reschedule for Mobile. But so Houston's trying to get up and rolling again. So the Texans have a place to race, and that's great. I mean, I'm glad that they're getting a racetrack and their racetrack. That's good. I mean, I know traveling is tough, and
who's
it makes it a little bit easier when it's tad bit closer.
Who's promoting that event now? Is that the guy that owns the track?
That's actually it's called the Southern Short Track Racing Series. So Southern Premier Racing Series is what that's called, and it's a dude by the name of John Alverson that's involved, and then Dean Baker there from Houston is involved in this as well. So it's a kind of a collaboration there between the two, and it's very much, from what I can tell, I've called the two races so far. It's very much a grassroots effort, collaboration with a lot of folks being involved, trying to pump in some extra dollars just to try to get something happening and springboard into 2023. I think that's the ultimate goal for them, to have some sort of season in 23. But it's one of those situations to where, and I've seen this so many times in the past, where race number one was just hit it out of the park. Race number two, there was a little bit of fall off, of course, but of course, race number two in Houston was the night of the 18-inning marathon baseball game.
Yeah. What do you expect?
I think that kept a lot of people away. But and then on top of that, so you got the two asphalt tracks, which a lot of folks were coming to me and they're like, "Hey, we're going head to head." I'm like, "No, we're not." I mean, there's not a lot of crossover between the two tracks, but there is going to be, because they're in Houston. They're at 105 Speedway, which is over in Cleveland. The dirt track, they've got the Texas Grand coming up next weekend as well. So you'll have, I don't know how long it's been since this has happened, but you'll actually have there in the Houston area, you'll have the asphalt track and the dirt track running at the same time with rather large programs. And that's cool. Hopefully that'll back up the World Series title coming tonight.
Amen.
There you go.
Houston is back.
Do any of the asphalt cars switch over and become dirt cars?
There are a couple that try it. It's with those modifieds, Don, that we would race out there. That's where you see it from time to time. The open wheel cars, but still, it's a lot harder to do that. What I know, there's an effort being put together, or ideas. When I say effort, ideas, to try to get a steel-bodied stock car class back on pavement, like in the days of the Houston Pro Stocks and so forth. Because what that would afford the opportunity is, there's dirt factory stocks, actual steel-bodied stock cars that you could convert over by changing shocks, by changing springs, whatever the case may be, suspension setup. That could kind of get you to where you could run multiple surfaces, as to where with the open wheel cars that are more purpose built, it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
But of course, what you run into, where I've been the detractor to the idea of a steel-bodied stock car class on pavement, is okay. Let's try to do that, but let's make it to where it's the actual dirt cars that we're using, not purpose-built stock cars, because that's or pavement cars, because when you get into purpose-built pavement cars, that's where the dollars go up. That's where the shocks get more expensive. That's where the springs get more expensive. And that's where you price the common Joe out of being able to be competitive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, last time I talked to Gino, it's been a while. I guess I need to call her and see how she's doing, but I assume that she's doing well. It seems to me that things over there in Mobile have really picked up. But I was also under the impression that Gina's got competition right there around the Mobile area. Like, there's a couple of other tracks that some of the drivers go to. How does that work? I mean, there's so much racing. How do you get people in the stands?
It's extremely odd over there, because there's Sunny South Speedway, which is very near there, and it's a competitor, but not so much a competitor to where it's competing for the classes that Gina's running. This is more of like the Legends cars, the Bandolero cars, the smaller, the smaller scale cars as compared to modifieds and trucks and so forth. So those two tracks actually have been working together to try to help each other out. And there's a drag strip, you remember, Don, right there in front of Mobile. They collaborate with Gina to try to promote. What you start running into in Alabama is you've got a racetrack in Montgomery, which I guess if you really look at it, of course Montgomery's a little ways off, but that would be the one that I would call more of the direct competition to Mobile. when you look at distance between the two tracks. But actually, there's a good effort right there with Gina and Stan at that racetrack to try to help and work together and promote each other's shows. And that's really what needs to happen. And then you go 90 miles further down along the coast, and you've got Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, which that's kind of along the Gulf Coast. That's the breeding ground. That's the place. That's kind of the heaven of short track racing there. But they've started to fall off a little bit as well. So it's extremely imperative that these tracks work together to try to help each other and try to schedule as to where guys could do a little bit of traveling, because it's easier over there. I mean, when we talk Texas versus Mobile, that's 810 miles or however far it is, and that's rough. But there's got to be some cooperation there, and I know that gets hard because everybody wants a piece of the pie, and then once you get a piece of the pie, you want the entire pie, and that's what the promoters need to get away from. Otherwise, we're all going bowling on Saturdays.
Well, that's one way to put it. Do you like bowling?
Man, after 3 or 4 beers, man, I'm hitting them like crazy, man.
Yeah, I'll bet you are. So what does 2023 look like for short track asphalt racing?
This is going to be an interesting year coming up in 2023 because there's been an announcement here in the last 2 weeks, I believe it is, that with super late models, that there's going to be a national touring late model series, which is a combination of 3 different super late model series that are working together, but they'll have their regular schedules, and they'll have within their regular schedules, each series is going to have, I think, at least 3 national events, which they're going to crown a national champion. The only problem with the national series is they've left out the West Coast and they've left out the far north. There's another series actually that raced with us in Mobile called the SRL National Series that does encompass more of the West. It's actually a Western series, the old Spears Western series, and they've started to trickle down into the South. So the super late models is really something that's grabbing a lot of headlines. But when we get to 2023, in my opinion, for short track racing, whether it's dirt or asphalt, it's going to be a combination of 2 things. The scheduling that we were talking about in Texas, with all the dirt tracks, to how do you handle all the different racetracks when you only have a certain amount of weeks in the year? How do you share that to where everybody is going to be able to have a good schedule where these cars can travel? And of course, second's going to be affordability. You've got to keep your rules in check. Don't go in and start changing things. If anything, try to dial some stuff back. I know Gina's got something in place with a Chevrolet dealership out of Mississippi to try to help that affordability. Hopefully, in the years moving forward, with a GM crate engine program, hopefully that's something that'll help. But hopefully, across the board in short track racing, we see more of that because prices just keep climbing, and it's getting harder to do this.
Well, my friend, it's great to talk to you. Good to see you, and best of luck. Happy holidays coming up if we don't talk to you. And let's get together and talk again come January, February, when everybody's off and getting their cars ready for the 2023 season.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it, guys. Same to you guys. Be well over the holidays, and we'll talk again soon.
Rodney Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen.
Go Stros.
Go Stros. There's always that. Dirty Air Radio Show, Gulf Coast Racing Series. Okay. Time now for the cruise-in calendar. Cruisers will be interested to note that I guess that Chrome and Coffee is tomorrow morning.
I was waiting for it.
9 to noon. Craig Bierman's. I'll tell you what, man. The last one, the parking lot was full.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of room. It's not that you can't, spread out a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, it was a great one. And hoping that it'll be good one again tomorrow.
You have new folks coming in, and then you have the usual suspects that are there, and then it's all great.
And
that's
Don
at the
Armstrong.
Avalon Diner.
And the fountains.
Yep.
And the fountains, basically 90 and
59.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So next weekend is the Travis FFA Car Show in Richmond, Texas for Travis High School. And that's a check-in at 9 a.m., and the show is 10 to 2, and it's a $25 fee, and that's a fundraiser. Also, November 12th is Vet Fest Car and Bike Show at the Warriors Refuge. November 19th is Coles Crossing Coffee and Cars Cars in the Park, and that's off of Barker Cypress in Cypress. The Ferrari Festival and support for Children's Cancer and Hematology Center is going to be December 4th. And there's a $5 spectator fee and a $20 car fee to go. And 100% of that goes to the Children's Cancer and Hematology Center.
Very good.
Back to you.
Thank you so much. If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, please. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2022 Hyundai Elantra. It comes in these trim levels: SE, SEL, the N line, Limited, and the N as in Nancy. I had the N as in Nancy with the manual transmission. Mid-size sedan, seats 4 passengers plus the driver. Exterior changes from last model year, none. Exterior features include an extra low hood line, which is really noticeable. If you get up to the car, you notice that the grill is all smashed down. It's low to the ground, man. It's very good looking. Unique black grill on the end line. Straight cut lines through the doors. Red accent highlights at the bottom edge all the way around the car, kind of like the Dodge did with the actual safety things, so they wouldn't get damaged with the yellow.
Scraping the splitters.
Right, but this is a built-on red line that goes all the way around the bottom of the car. Very edgy rear fascia with built-in spoiler and an extra wing on top of that. What I liked about it, the unique fascia, exclusively to the N. What could use improvement? They need to tub that car out.
Thank you, Don.
Interior highlights: high bolstered N seating up front. Very high bolstered. So if you're a large person, you ain't going to fit in this. Well, you will, but you're going to be standing off of the seat when you sit down. Unique N labeled bits throughout the cabin. Passive phone charger on the front console, standard on the N. Well-designed interior, but a little bit too much plastic. But the car is not out of sight price-wise. So you got to make some compromises there if you're going to get people to buy the car.
For pricing.
Sure. Cargo trunk room is average. What I liked about it, those sport seats. They hugged me, just like I like to be hugged.
Oh,
what
boy.
could use improvement? More adjustment in the sports seats. Would like to have had a little lumbar support
family
there.
show.
You'd like to be hugged a little differently.
Here's
boy.
something interesting. A 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine. It turns out 276 horsepower with 289 pound-feet of torque with the 6-speed manual transmission. Got 22 miles per gallon on the city, 31 on the highway. That's what it's rated for a combined of 25. I got 31.6 miles per gallon over 395.7 miles. So you see, it got horsepower in a relatively light 4-door sedan with a 6-speed manual transmission. It hauls donkey.
Yeah.
And it gets good fuel economy doing it.
What I liked about it, the variable sport exhaust on the car. Variable sport exhaust. You nail this thing, oh my God. It's like it opens up the world to the exhaust.
Okay.
And it can get loud. What could use improvement? Nothing. Just Hyundai, don't screw it up, okay?
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Ride and handling. Sporty suspension with adaptive shocks that you can change in there. Yep. What I liked about it, what could use improvement is I think it needs a track app.
Oh, boy.
Really?
In the infotainment.
It was that level of
Oh,
performance.
absolutely. And this was a fun car in a sedan from Hyundai.
Could you notice a difference as you tuned the suspension
Yeah.
with the adjustability?
Absolutely. You could.
The sexiest part of that car was when I was in it.
And it was all about Jeff, as it usually is.
I was waiting for you.
Pricing. You ready? The base trim price is the same as the price as tested. $33,245.
So this is the car.
Yeah.
This is the car. There is no options.
It's all options.
There are no
all
options.
the options are in this
In
car.
that one.
And $33,000 will buy you a sedan hot rod that looks good and it drives good and it's got tons of horsepower, in my estimation. Base model price, if you just want an Elantra, a stripper, $20,200. One of the reasons that I love Hyundais and Kias, they're priced right.
Good pricing.
Yeah, for a good-looking car. Competitors, Honda Civic, $22,550 is where it starts. Kia Forte starts at $19,090, and the Mazda 3 starts at $22,420. This is a fun car for $30,000. Tons of fun.
And it looked good.
It did.
You know, it's just a good-looking car.
It is. So if you're looking for a sports sedan, I would encourage you to go and test drive this. I think that you'll be in. Matter of fact, I was looking online, and I think that there was one in stock at one of the Hyundai dealers in town.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out there, and it's a fun car.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to remind everybody that the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams on the iHeartRadio app and Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts are also available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Hey, Houston! America's greatest hot rod tradition is back! Thanksgiving weekend! The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama! At the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase. Sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics. And the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria. With 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars. Plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration. Meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitchin' Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk.